Imagine a region, just picture it, spanning vast oceans, home to well over half the world's population.
Hmm.
And it's the stage for some of the most dynamic shifts in global power and prosperity we're seeing today. We're talking, of course, about the Indo-Pacific.
Absolutely. It's such a complex tapestry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cultures, economies, strategic interests, all woven together.
Yeah.
A place where the future, our interconnected future, is really being hammered out.
It really is. And it's not just some abstract geographic term.
No, not at all. It encapsulates this huge swath of the planet, right? From the eastern shores of Africa all the way across the Indian and Pacific Oceans to the Western Americas. Immense potential there.
But also, as you said, complex. A place where global norms are, let's say, frequently tested.
That's a good way to put it. Potential and challenge side by side.
You've got it. So today we're taking a deep dive into India's multifaceted vision for this absolutely crucial region, and specifically its intensified engagement throughout 2023. You've probably heard whispers, Indo-Pacific strategies from different countries, but what do they actually mean on the ground? What does it look like in practice?
Yeah, beyond the diplomatic speak.
Exactly. More importantly, what does India's specific approach bring to the table for regional stability, for growth? And what were some of the perhaps surprising, tangible things they actually did last year?
It's a perspective that often gets mentioned, sure, but the nuances, the specifics of India's strategy, they often get lost in the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely time to unpack the real-world impact of their diplomatic blueprint, see what's actually happening.
And to give you that truly informed perspective, that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed, we're pulling our insights directly from an official annual report.
Ah, good. Official sources.
Yes. One that lays out India's strategic approach and its practical steps in, well, quite a bit of detail. It's like their roadmap. Offers a level of insight you just won't find scanning news feeds.
That's valuable.
Yeah.
That kind of source lets us go beyond the general statements, the rhetoric. We can see the specific actions, the partnerships that actually underpin India's strategy.
Yeah.
It gives us a tangible, evidence-based look at their commitments and maybe reveals some of the subtle strategic thinking behind them.
So our mission for you today, let's unpack India's strategic blueprint. Let's explore its key partnerships and uncover some of those surprising, perhaps tangible initiatives that shaped its engagement in 2023.
Okay.
We'll look beyond the headlines, try to understand the why and the how behind these significant diplomatic efforts. Okay, buckle up. We're about to peel back the layers on India's strategic playbook, see how they're not just reacting, but actively shaping the future of the Indo-Pacific.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's set the stage first. When we talk about India's vision for the Indo-Pacific, the official report, it consistently uses phrases like a free, open, inclusive, and rules-based Indo-Pacific. Now, these terms sound very, well, diplomatic, polished.
They do. Standard fare in these discussions.
But what's the real strategic assertion, embedded within each of those words? What are they actually saying?
That's a crucial point to unpack. Because you're right, they aren't just buzzwords. They're carefully chosen principles. They define the kind of regional order India wants to see.
Okay.
So when India talks about a free Indo-Pacific, well, strategically, that's really about the unimpeded flow of commerce and movement
Yeah.
across vital international waterways, airspace.
Freedom of navigation, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Freedom of navigation and overflight. Essential for global trade, for connectivity. It's making sure those international sea lanes and air routes are accessible to everyone, according to international law.
So it's not just a nice idea about open seas.
Not at all. It's a quiet but pretty firm pushback against any unilateral attempts to, say, close off crucial trade arteries. It's subtly safeguarding global commerce. And it signals a shared interest with other maritime powers who also depend heavily on those routes.
Right.
The why here is as much about economic survival as it is about strategic principle,
Okay, so safeguarding those vital lifelines for trade, making sure everyone can move freely. Got it.
Exactly. And open ties into that, but maybe with a slightly broader scope. It suggests the region should be accessible for engagement by all nations.
Regardless of size or military clout.
Precisely. It's about transparency. It's about avoiding those closed blocks or exclusive spheres of influence, like you saw in the Cold War. This openness, it extends to economic opportunities, diplomatic engagement, letting all countries participate and hopefully benefit. It's foundational for broader stability, really. making sure no one feels shut out, marginalized, because that breeds resentment, instability.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, what about inclusive? Does that mean bringing everyone to the table? Even nations that might typically be sidelined in these big strategic discussions?
Yes, that's a big part of it. Inclusive means India's vision isn't just for, a select club of major powers.
Right.
It encompasses all nations within the Indo-Pacific, big or small, recognizing their legitimate interests, their potential contributions.
Mm.
And it also refers to the issues being addressed. It's not just about hard security. It's economic development, environmental protection, maritime safety, disaster management. Ensuring solutions are comprehensive, benefit a broad spectrum of societies.
So a wider lens.
A much wider lens.
Yeah.
It's a deliberate contrast, perhaps, to approaches that might seem to marginalize certain countries or prioritize very narrow interests. It's about building common ground, finding shared solutions.
And then the rules-based aspect, we hear that phrase thrown around a lot in international relations circles.
Constantly.
But what makes it so critically important for stability in a region as vast and, frankly, diverse as the Indo-Pacific, especially one with a history of territorial disputes?
Yeah, that history is key.
Right.
And this raises an important question because a rules-based order is, well, arguably the bedrock of predictability, of stability.
How's that?
It means that international conduct, particularly in sensitive areas like those territorial disputes you mentioned, or resource allocation, even things like cyber warfare, should be governed by agreed-upon norms and laws, not just by unilateral power or coercion.
What makes right is not the goal here.
Definitely not. The source, the report, it emphasizes respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations, equality among them, a commitment to peaceful resolution of disputes, and a clear avoidance of the use or threat of force.
Okay.
Without these established rules, you'd be looking at a much more volatile, unpredictable environment, where power dictates outcomes, not law. And that could easily lead to increased friction, even conflict.
So India's strong emphasis here is a clear signal.
A very clear signal. It shows its preference for a stable, predictable regional environment, one that allows all nations, ideally, to thrive.
That sounds like a clear aspirational vision. Definitely emphasizes collaboration over confrontation. But let's dig into how India translates this vision into a broader strategy. The report highlights an overarching objective: security and growth for all in the region. SAGAR, the acronym.
SAGAR, yes.
Now, this isn't just about military might, is it? It feels like a much more comprehensive, multifaceted kind of engagement.
You're absolutely right to pick up on that. SAGAR isn't just a catchy acronym. It really represents a profound strategic pivot, or at least a framing.
How so?
It acknowledges that true national security, especially in this interconnected age, isn't solely about military strength. It's a complex web. Economic resilience, cultural understanding, shared environmental stewardship, they're all part of it.
Interconnected pieces.
Totally. The source details that this engagement spans political, security, economic, and sociocultural spheres. And what's fascinating is how India aims to weave these different threads together. A holistic approach.
So investing in the whole region benefits India too.
That seems to be the insight, yes. By investing in the collective well-being of the region, India is, in effect, building its own most robust defense and securing its future prosperity. You could call it enlightened self-interest.
So it's about building this web of interconnected relationships, making the region more stable and more prosperous for everyone, not just for India itself.
Exactly. Think about it. Economic prosperity tends to reduce internal tensions, creates shared interests, which in turn enhances security.
Right.
Sociocultural exchanges build trust, understanding, foster a more collaborative environment. So when they say security and growth for all, it implies this symbiotic relationship. Prosperity contributes to security, and security enables growth.
A positive feedback loop.
Ideally, yes. This multifaceted approach aims to build resilience across the whole region, make it less susceptible to shocks, whether that's climate change, health pandemics, economic disruptions, more capable of managing shared challenges together. It's a really comprehensive vision for mutual flourishing.
That's a powerful guiding principle. Now let's talk about something that comes up again and again in India's Indo-Pacific discourse: ASEAN centrality.
Yes, very prominent.
The source mentions how frequently this phrase appears. It feels like a strategic cornerstone. And this raises an important question, doesn't it? Why would a major power like India prioritize another regional bloc's centrality in this evolving architecture? Why not try to assert its own unilateral dominance?
It's a really insightful question, and it speaks volumes about India's preferred way of engaging in the region. India supports ASEAN centrality because ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, has historically been right at the heart of the regional diplomatic and security architecture.
They're the established player.
They are. And by supporting ASEAN's central role, India signals its commitment to a cooperative, inclusive regional order, one that isn't dominated by any single power.
So it's a way of signaling, look, we believe in multilateralism and collective decision-making, not some kind of top-down approach.
Precisely. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it implies India sees ASEAN as kind of unifying force, capable of bridging diverse interests among its 10 member states, and serving as a neutral convener for broader regional dialogues, like the East Asia Summit we'll probably get to.
Yeah.
Prioritizing ASEAN centrality aligns perfectly with India's vision of a rules-based order, where regional institutions play a vital role in setting norms, resolving disputes.
It probably helps with buy-in from smaller nations, too.
Absolutely. It fosters greater buy-in, ensures the evolving architecture feels genuinely inclusive, rather than being perceived as just a power play between the larger nations. It sort of decentralizes influence to a degree, makes the whole system potentially more resilient, more representative.
So it's a strategic choice for collaborative leadership.
Yes, exactly. Acknowledging the collective strength of the region rather than trying to unilaterally impose a structure, that kind of move could easily be met with resistance or suspicion.
It sounds like a truly foundational principle for their whole approach then. Okay, so how does this grand vision, this blueprint for a free, open, inclusive Indo-Pacific actually, hit the ground? Where does the rubber meet the road?
Well, the answer really lies in the partnerships, this meticulously crafted web of partnerships that India's been building.
Right.
So let's look at the concrete actions, the proof in the pudding, so to speak, starting with the cornerstone you mentioned, ASEAN. It truly stands out as central to India's Act East policy.
The relationship feels absolutely central.
Indeed. It's a practical manifestation of that Indo-Pacific vision, not just rhetoric. It's this deeply woven, evolving relationship, carefully nurtured over decades, really a testament to sustained diplomatic effort.
And the history of it is fascinating. As you say, not a sudden thing, but this carefully built foundation. The report traces India's formal engagement way back, right, 1992. Sectoral dialogue partner.
Just dipping a toe in initially.
Then 1996, dialogue partner. By 2002, upgraded to the summit level. Then 2012, a strategic partnership. And most recently, 2022, a comprehensive strategic partnership.
Quite the climb.
What does this steady progression, this ladder of engagement, tell us about the deepening ties and the mutual importance? What does each step actually signify?
Well, this progressive upgrading, it tells us several things about the increasing maturity, the complexity of their bond. First, clearly it signifies increasing trust. Mutual confidence. Moving from a sectoral dialogue partner, where maybe engagement is limited to specific, often less sensitive areas like trade or tourism, to a comprehensive strategic partnership. That indicates a broadening, a deepening of collaboration across almost all facets of state-to-state relations.
Including the sensitive stuff, like security, defense.
Exactly. So it's not just about talking anymore, it's about integrating strategies, working together on a much wider range of issues, even the tricky ones. Secondly, it reflects a shared recognition. They see the strategic importance of each other in this rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. For India, ASEAN isn't just a gateway to Southeast Asia. It's a crucial partner in maintaining stability, prosperity across the whole Indo-Pacific.
And for ASEAN.
For ASEAN, India offers a significant economic partner, a source of investment, and maybe a strategic balance in a complex environment. This progression, it isn't merely symbolic. It represents institutionalizing increasingly robust mechanisms for cooperation. It signals long-term commitment from both sides.
So it shows maturity, resilience, adaptability.
Absolutely. And it means more formal mechanisms are likely in place for joint planning, maybe crisis management, long-term development projects.
And this comprehensive engagement, it covers a really wide array of areas, at all levels too. The report highlights 7 key ministerial engagements alone: foreign affairs, commerce, tourism, agriculture, environment, renewable energy, and telecommunication.
That list itself is revealing.
It really shows the practical, everyday impact, doesn't it? Beyond the summit handshakes.
It absolutely does. Listing those specific ministerial engagements, it goes beyond just general statements of cooperation. It illustrates the tangible breadth of the partnership.
Yeah.
It means issues impacting everyday life, how goods are traded, how people travel, how food's grown, energy's sourced, even how we communicate these are being actively addressed at the highest levels.
So deeply embedded.
Yes, that kind of granular engagement suggests a partnership that's deeply embedded in the practical functioning of both economies and societies. It moves beyond high-level declarations to actual policy coordination that affects citizens directly, shows a commitment to joint problem-solving in critical areas.
Delivers tangible benefits, not just talk.
That seems to be the goal, yes.
And at the apex of all this interaction, you have the annual ASEAN-India Summit, supported by foreign ministers' meetings, senior officials' meetings.
The whole structure.
Right. And in 2023, the Prime Minister participated in the 20th ASEAN-India Summit in Jakarta in September. That marked his 9th engagement with ASEAN at that level. 9 summits. What does that consistency tell us about the attention given and the message it sends globally?
That consistency is highly significant. 9 summits attended by the head of government. That demonstrates an unwavering commitment to ASEAN. It underscores the strategic importance India places on this partnership.
It's not just one partner among many.
No, it suggests ASEAN is a fundamental pillar of India's foreign policy. This regular, high-level interaction ensures continuous strategic guidance for the partnership, allows for timely adjustments to new challenges, and it builds personal rapport among leaders that's crucial in diplomacy.
Builds confidence.
Exactly. It signals reliability, depth of engagement, fosters confidence among ASEAN members that India is a steady, dependable partner. And globally, it sends a clear message. India is prioritizing multilateralism, regional institution building, not just going it alone.
And these summits, they involve extensive discussions on strengthening the comprehensive strategic partnership, charting the future course. But let's get down to those aha moments for the listener, the tangible cooperation that really impacts people's lives.
Right, the practical stuff.
Let's start with connectivity in the air. The report notes direct flight connectivity established between India and Indonesia. Indigo Batik Air flights started in August 2023. This built on direct flights with Vietnam that started the year before.
Okay, new flight routes.
Seems simple, right? But what's the hidden impact here? How do these simple flight routes actually transform life for the average person, for businesses, beyond just making holidays easier?
Well, it's a perfect example of how diplomatic efforts translate into practical, widespread benefits. It genuinely shrinks the world. Beyond tourism, direct flights are a significant boost for business.
How so?
They drastically cut travel time, costs for entrepreneurs, investors, professionals, facilitates trade missions, joint ventures, skill exchanges much more easily. Think about tech startups in Bangalore now more easily collaborating with Jakarta's, burgeoning digital economy.
Or Indonesian manufacturers connecting with India's huge market.
Exactly. It enables more spontaneous business trips, accelerates negotiations, fosters deeper market penetration, it greases the wheels of commerce.
So easier economic exchange, definitely, but also cultural understanding, making collaboration just more seamless.
Totally. And they significantly enhance people-to-people connections, too. Easier family visits, academic exchanges, cultural immersion that builds long-term goodwill, mutual understanding. It's not just about moving people. It's enabling the flow of ideas, capital, cultural exchange, all vital for a vibrant, integrated region.
Effectively shrinks the distance.
Makes these countries feel much closer, more interconnected. And that lays the groundwork for stronger, more resilient relationships for decades to come.
And it's not just air connectivity. The report highlights digital connectivity in finance, too, specifically mentioning this real-time cross-border payment link set up with Singapore.
Ah, the UPI Pay Now link.
Yes, established in February 2023, using India's UPI and Singapore's Pay Now. And importantly, there's an intent noted to expand this to other ASEAN countries.
That's the really big part.
This feels like a huge leap. So what does this actually mean for you, the listener, if you're a traveler, or perhaps even more importantly, if you're doing business in the region?
Okay, this is, and I don't think it's an exaggeration, a monumental step. A true game changer for financial integration in the region.
Really? How?
For the average traveler. It means being able to make instant, seamless, probably low-cost payments directly from your bank account using your phone in another country. No need to convert cash at kiosks, no relying on credit cards with potentially high foreign transaction
How they
fees.
paying locally?
Imagine being in, say, a hawker center in Singapore, scanning a QR code with your Indian UPI app and paying directly from your rupee account, without a second thought. That convenience, it's transformative for individuals.
No more fumbling with local currency, worrying about exchange rates on the spot. Makes travel so much smoother.
Precisely. But the implications go way beyond just individual convenience. For businesses, especially SMEs, small medium enterprises, it drastically simplifies cross-border transactions.
Faster payments.
Much faster payments for goods, services, easier remittances for migrant workers. It cuts down transaction times from potentially days to seconds and significantly reduces costs, removes friction in economic interactions, promotes greater trade, investment.
And the plan to expand it.
That shows the strategic vision, a more integrated digital economy across the region. You could eventually see a vast, efficient, real-time payment network across a huge part of the Indo-Pacific. Its foundational digital infrastructure being laid.
A regional digital economic zone, almost.
Potentially, down the line. Think about the implications for e-commerce, for small businesses in remote areas, for financial inclusion across these nations. This is truly practical integration in action. Shows India's focus on tangible, high-impact initiatives that are quietly reshaping the economic landscape.
Wow. Okay. Beyond economics and social ties, security is obviously paramount. The report mentions the first Asian-India maritime exercise held in the South China Sea in May 2023.
A significant development.
Agreed upon just the previous year at the first Asian-India defense ministers meeting. Now, this raises an important question. What's the significance of that specific location for a joint exercise, especially given, well, its sensitive nature?
The South China Sea is, as you know, one of the most strategically significant and often contentious maritime areas globally. Multiple overlapping territorial claims, complex geopolitics.
Very much so.
Holding the first Asian-India maritime exercise there, in that specific location, sends a powerful, albeit nuanced, message. It underscores a shared commitment.
To what exactly?
To a rules-based order, freedom of navigation, and maritime security in a crucial global waterway.
So it's a demonstration of their joint resolve, their capacity to operate together in a sensitive region, emphasizing international law over unilateral claims, maybe, while walking a careful diplomatic tightrope.
Exactly. It's about building interoperability, building trust among their navies, enhancing their collective ability to respond to common challenges. Piracy, illegal fishing, natural disasters.
Practical cooperation.
Very practical. By conducting the exercise there, India and ASEAN are collectively affirming their interest in a stable, secure South China Sea, where international laws and norms are respected by all parties. It's a proactive measure, fostering regional stability, demonstrating shared responsibility for maritime domain awareness, security.
But carefully avoiding taking sides in specific disputes.
It seems so. It meticulously avoids taking sides in specific territorial spats, but reinforces that overarching principle. Freedom of navigation, adherence to international maritime law. That's a delicate balance in that complex region. It's about showing capability, commitment to shared principles, without explicitly targeting any single claimant.
And on the economic front again, the 5th ASEAN-India Business Summit, held in March in Kuala Lumpur, aiming to enhance business connectivity and, crucially, supply chain resilience.
Resilience, the buzzword of the last few years.
Absolutely. The pandemic really threw a spotlight on just how fragile things were. But why is making those global connections robust so paramount, especially in a region as dynamic, as interconnected as the Indo-Pacific?
Well, as you said, the past few years exposed the shocking fragility of global supply chains. Disruptions, whether from health crises, natural disasters, geopolitical tensions, they can have these cascading, immediate effects on economies worldwide.
Yeah, we all felt it.
Directly impacting everything from whether you can buy certain goods to the cost of production for businesses. For the Indo-Pacific, which is vital for global manufacturing, trade, logistics, enhancing supply chain resilience is just paramount for economic stability.
So it's about making sure that if one part of the chain breaks, the whole system doesn't just collapse. Goods can still move efficiently.
Precisely. It involves diversifying sources of supply, building redundancies, maybe promoting local production where feasible, improving logistics and connectivity to create alternative routes. That business summit aimed to foster closer business-to-business ties, identify those alternative routes, share best practices to mitigate risks.
It's not just resilience, though, is it? Some talk about anti-fragility.
That's a great point. Aiming for systems that don't just withstand shocks, but actually benefit from them. Adapting, evolving stronger after disruption. By building more robust, perhaps even anti-fragile supply chains, India and ASEAN aim to ensure essential goods and components keep flowing, even in crisis, protecting economic stability, preventing shortages, fostering greater self-reliance, and regional security,
Makes the whole region more robust.
and ensures more consistent economic growth for everyone involved.
And it's not just about hard security or economics, is it? There's a significant sociocultural and health dimension here, too. The report mentions the ASEAN-India Youth Summit in Hyderabad in February, and a conference on traditional medicines in July, focusing on their role in dealing with pandemics.
Interesting combination.
It really shows a holistic approach to partnership, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Beyond just the economy and security angles.
Absolutely. This highlights India's comprehensive approach, recognizing that long-term, deep partnerships, they're built on shared values, cultural understanding, collective well-being, not just transactional interests.
The Youth Summit makes sense in that context.
Definitely. It's an investment in future generations, fostering cross-cultural understanding, leadership skills among the young people who will drive future relations, creates a network of future leaders, maybe with a shared vision, cultivating lasting bonds that transcend political cycles.
And the Traditional Medicines Conference, that seems particularly relevant given recent global health challenges, hints at a broader approach to health security, perhaps.
Indeed. The focus on traditional medicines and their role in pandemics is highly significant. It acknowledges the rich traditional health systems within both India and ASEAN countries, and it seeks to leverage this shared heritage for public health benefits.
In a post-pandemic world.
Exactly. It underscores the importance of diverse approaches to healthcare, capacity building, and health security, exploring all avenues for resilience against future health crises. It demonstrates this deep, holistic engagement, addressing shared human challenges, building connections beyond purely strategic or economic needs, fostering genuine mutual support and collaboration in a vital area that impacts every citizen directly.
Collective health security, learning from diverse knowledge systems.
Precisely.
Okay, let's move to another critical forum mentioned, the East Asia Summit, or EAS, established back in 2005, described in the report as the most vital part of the ASEAN-led frameworks. Why? Because of its contribution to building strategic trust in the region.
Strategic trust, hard to build, easy to lose.
Indeed. And India, according to the report, sees the EAS as the logical platform to promote its vision, that free, open, inclusive, transparent, rules-based, peaceful, prosperous Indo-Pacific. What makes the EAS so vital for building this strategic trust among such a diverse group? You've got major global powers there, often with very different agendas.
Yeah, the membership is key. The EAS is vital precisely because it is a leaders-led forum. It brings together 18 countries, not just ASEAN members, but also major players like India, China, the US, Russia, Japan, Australia, New Zealand.
Big hitters.
All the key stakeholders, really. This diverse, high-level membership allows for direct dialogue on crucial strategic political issues affecting the entire Indo-Pacific. In a region with such complex dynamics, that direct communication at the highest level, it can often prevent misunderstandings, maybe even de-escalate tensions.
So it's a direct line for leaders, a place to discuss sensitive topics, build understanding, almost like a pressure release valve for geopolitical tensions.
That's a good analogy. The ability of leaders to engage directly on sensitive issues, security challenges, regional norms, it fosters transparency, reduces misinterpretations, essential building blocks for strategic trust. It provides a regular platform for open communication. Lets leaders understand each other's perspectives, articulate concerns, collectively address complex regional challenges. By facilitating these discussions, the EAS helps manage potential flashpoints, promote a shared understanding of regional security.
So India sees it as the logical platform because
Because it believes a stable region requires that high-level, inclusive dialogue among all the key players, and the EAS offers that unique opportunity to shape the strategic environment through discussion rather than potentially through confrontation. It's about cultivating a habit of dialogue, even when, inevitably, disagreements persist.
And India's engagement here, again, it's consistent. The PM participated in the 18th East Asia Summit in September 2023, reiterated the importance of the mechanism, reaffirmed support to strengthen it, underscored India's support for ASEAN centrality, called again for that free, open, and rules-based Indo-Pacific.
The same core messages.
This consistent messaging across different forums we saw with ASEAN too, it seems to be a real hallmark of India's approach. What does this consistency achieve? Why keep repeating it?
It definitely is a defining characteristic, and the consistent reiteration of these core principles supporting ASEAN centrality, the free, open, rules-based order across various high-level forums. It's a deliberate strategic choice.
To achieve what?
It signals predictability. reliability in India's foreign policy.
So everyone knows where India stands on these fundamentals, reduces ambiguity, fosters greater confidence, perhaps.
Precisely. This consistent messaging builds confidence among partners. They see India's vision as stable, principled, not opportunistic, not shifting with every geopolitical wind. It reinforces India's role as a responsible, predictable stakeholder in the region.
Shaping the discourse.
Actively shaping the discourse, yes, and aligning its efforts with other like-minded nations, contributing to a more coherent, resilient regional order. This consistency is crucial for building trust, for building long-term partnerships. Partners know they can rely on India's stated positions. That reduces uncertainty in an already complex landscape.
Okay, switching gears slightly, but staying within the region. Let's look at the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA.
Right, closer to home for India.
The report highlights India's enhanced position here, assumed the role of vice chair for 2023-25. And, maybe even more significantly, India will lead two critical working groups, Maritime Safety and Security and the Blue Economy Working Group.
Ah, leadership roles. That's noteworthy.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what does India's leadership in these specific working groups tell us about its priorities in the Indian Ocean? And what kind of impact might we expect from their leadership here?
This is highly revealing, I think, about India's strategic priorities in its immediate maritime neighborhood. Reflects both its self-interest and its sense of regional responsibility. Its leadership in the Maritime Safety and Security Group. That underscores its commitment to ensuring secure, stable seas for everyone in the Indian Ocean. This means addressing pervasive threats, piracy, illegal fishing, drug trafficking, enhancing search and rescue capabilities across that vast ocean.
Core security concerns.
Absolutely. Given India's extensive coastline, its critical trade routes through the Indian Ocean, its heavy reliance on sea lanes for energy imports, ensuring maritime safety and security is directly linked to its own economic well-being, its regional stability. It's fundamental.
And the Blue Economy Working Group, that sounds different. More about sustainable development, the future of ocean resources?
Indeed. The blue economy, that concept encompasses the sustainable use of ocean resources. For economic growth, yes, but also for improved livelihoods, and crucially for ocean ecosystem health.
The balancing act.
It has to be. India leading this group signifies its deep interest in sustainable exploitation of marine resources, promoting renewable ocean energy, fostering marine tourism, developing innovative solutions for ocean management, tackling marine pollution.
So security and sustainability.
That dual leadership role, it shows India views the Indian Ocean not just as a strategic waterway for trade and defense, but as a vital economic resource, one that needs to be both protected and developed responsibly. It speaks to a vision of balanced growth and security, recognizing how interconnected those two dimensions are for the future of the Indian Ocean region.
And these decisions were announced at the Council of Ministers meeting in Colombo.
Right, indicating collaborative agreement among the member states. Reinforces India's role as a regional leader accepted by its peers.
That's a clear focus on the Indian Ocean. Now, let's turn to another initiative mentioned prominently, the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative, or IPOI.
IPOI, yes. Launched a few years back.
Its genesis was in the Prime Minister's speech at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore back in June 2018, officially launched November 2019. And again, it re-emphasizes that vision. Free, open, inclusive order, respect for sovereignty, peaceful dispute resolution, adherence to rules, freedom of navigation, cooperation, and naturally, ASEAN centrality.
The core principles again.
What exactly is the IPOI aiming to achieve as an open global initiative? How does it maybe differentiate itself from other frameworks out there?
Well, the IPOI is conceptualized as an open global initiative, precisely because it's not meant to create entirely new, exclusive structures or duplicate existing efforts. There are many already.
Okay, so it's not trying to reinvent the wheel.
No. Instead, it aims to draw on, to complement, the diverse existing regional cooperation architecture and mechanisms. Its goal is to provide a comprehensive, holistic framework for addressing shared maritime challenges across the whole Indo-Pacific, regardless of specific national boundaries or alliances. It functions like an overarching umbrella, you could say, bringing together disparate efforts under a common shared vision.
So like an umbrella framework, bringing together lots of different existing initiatives, efforts under one common vision.
Exactly. It's designed to be inclusive, welcoming participation from all countries, all organizations that share that vision of a rules-based, prosperous, secure Indo-Pacific. It encourages collaborative responses to common challenges, recognizing that no single nation, however powerful, can tackle issues like climate change, maritime safety, environmental degradation alone.
Needs collective action.
Absolutely. It's an example of India maybe acting more as a convener, a facilitator, rather than trying to be the sole leader, promoting a multi-stakeholder approach to these complex problems. It emphasizes cooperation, mutual benefit, provides a coherent framework for action without imposing rigid new structures.
And the IPOI focuses on 7 central pillars. Let's list them. Maritime security, maritime ecology, maritime resources, capacity building and resource sharing, disaster risk reduction and management, science, technology, and academic cooperation, and trade connectivity and maritime transport.
A comprehensive list.
Now, here's where, as the report highlights, it gets really interesting. Significant international commitments came in 2023. Germany agreed to lead the capacity building and resource sharing pillar. Italy joined to co-lead the science, technology, and academic cooperation pillar. And the U.S. committed to co-lead the trade connectivity and maritime transport pillar.
Wow, okay. That's major buy-in.
What does this international commitment tell us about the global recognition of India's framework? And about the genuinely collaborative nature needed to address these regional challenges?
That international commitment is profoundly significant. It's almost a quiet endorsement on the global stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
It tells us several things. Firstly, it indicates strong global recognition of the relevance, the value of India's IPOI framework.
It's not just India talking to itself.
Not at all. When major global players, Germany, Italy, the U.S., decide to co-lead specific pillars, that signals their confidence in India's vision, their willingness to contribute substantial resources, expertise to it. It validates the comprehensive nature of IPOI, shows its pillars aligned with the strategic interests, the capabilities of the diverse international partners. This isn't just an Indian initiative anymore. It's achieved international buy-in, shared ownership.
So it's a testament to the framework's universality and maybe India's ability to rally global support around a shared vision.
Exactly. And secondly, it highlights that deeply collaborative nature that's essential for tackling these complex, interconnected challenges of the Indo-Pacific. These challenges, climate change, maritime safety, economic integration, they are just too vast, too complex for any single nation.
Needs that multi-stakeholder approach you mentioned.
Absolutely. The participation of these countries demonstrates a shared understanding that this multi-stakeholder cooperative approach is essential. Each co-leading nation brings unique strengths, unique perspectives to their pillar, significantly enhancing the initiative's effectiveness, its reach.
Like the U.S. on trade connectivity.
Right. The U.S. co-leading trade connectivity and maritime transport leverages its vast economic, logistical networks, its expertise in global supply chains. Germany, focusing on capacity building, speaks to its long-standing expertise in development aid, institutional strengthening globally. Italy's involvement in science and technology points to its scientific prowess, commitment to innovation.
So it becomes a global partnership.
This collective engagement transforms IPOI from an Indian concept into a truly global partnership for the common good of the Indo-Pacific. Underscores that this is about shared responsibility, collective prosperity, not just bilateral interests. Marks a significant success for India's multilateral diplomacy, I'd say.
That's powerful. Okay, moving to another, perhaps unique collaboration, the Mekong-Gunga Cooperation, or MGC.
MGC, yes. Deep historical roots there.
Established way back in 2000, described as the oldest sub-regional mechanism in the Mekong subregion. It's a fascinating initiative connecting countries with these deep historical, cultural ties that predate many contemporary strategic alignments.
It is, and its longevity, I think, speaks to the enduring relevance of those cultural, historical linkages in fostering cooperation today. The MGC highlights the shared civilizational heritage between India and the Mekong countries, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam.
The different kind of connection.
It's a testament to the idea that diplomacy isn't solely driven by immediate economic or security concerns, but also by deep-rooted cultural affinity, historical connections. Those are the bonds that can often withstand geopolitical shifts.
And there were significant developments in 2023 aimed at streamlining, expanding this cooperation. The 12th MGC Foreign Ministers meeting in Bangkok in July. They agreed to streamline MGC functioning under 10 specific areas: tourism, culture, education, public health, agriculture, transport, MSMEs, water management, science and tech, skill development.
Getting more focused.
And they introduced a lead country system for each area, plus agreed to set up an MGC Business Council to boost trade cooperation. What does this streamlining and expansion tell us about the maturity of this mechanism? How does it make it more effective on the ground?
This move, I think, indicates a significant maturation of the MGC, shifting from maybe broad discussions to more actionable, results-oriented cooperation. Instead of a very broad, less focused approach, streamlining under 10 identified areas with a lead country system, that reflects a desire for greater efficiency, accountability, tangible results.
Moving from principles to program.
Exactly, with clear ownership.
So it's about making sure the cooperation isn't just theoretical, has clear objectives, accountability.
Precisely. That lead country system means for each area, say, public health or transport a specific nation takes primary responsibility for driving initiatives, coordinating efforts. That can significantly enhance the pace, the impact of cooperation, reduces bureaucratic friction, clarifies who does what.
And the Business Council.
Similarly, establishing the MGC Business Council signals a recognition that formal diplomatic engagement needs to be backed up by robust business-to-business ties to really unlock economic potential. This whole development shows a commitment to making MGC more effective, more impactful, ensuring cooperation translates into concrete benefits for the communities involved. Moving from aspirational talks to practical implementation, it's about moving the needle on the ground.
And speaking of concrete benefits for local communities, MGC includes these quick impact projects, or QIPs.
QIPs, yes. Very interesting model.
The report explains them. Short gestation, high impact, usually up to 1 year, not exceeding $50,000 per project. Designed to directly benefit local communities with immediate and visible results. So what does this actually mean on the ground for everyday people? And it's quite impressive since 2016, 105 such projects implemented for the CLMV countries: Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam.
The QIPs are a fantastic example of grassroots diplomacy and development, delivering visible, tangible change exactly where it's needed most, often. On the ground, this means direct improvements addressing immediate needs.
Like what, for instance?
Imagine a village getting a new water purification system. Immediate health improvement. A small school receiving upgraded facilities, enhancing learning for hundreds of kids. A local health clinic getting essential equipment that saves lives. All through these relatively small, quick QIPs.
Immediate and visible.
Those words are crucial. Quick impact, visible results. Because they build direct goodwill. They demonstrate the practical benefits of international cooperation at a very local level, often in remote or underserved areas.
It sounds like a very direct, maybe unbureaucratic way to show communities the positive effects of these partnerships, building trust from the bottom up.
Absolutely. Fosters trust, partnership at the community level. That's a powerful complement to your high-level diplomatic stuff. It's a direct response to local needs. And the fact that 105 projects have been done since 2016 for those CLMV countries shows a consistent, sustained commitment to delivering on this promise, making a real difference in ordinary people's lives, strengthening the bonds between India and the Mekong countries, literally from the ground up.
Effective soft power.
Highly effective. Soft power and development cooperation, showing grand strategic visions, can have very local, very immediate benefits.
And beyond infrastructure immediate needs, there's also this significant investment in human capital through MGC scholarships.
Scholarship.
Since 2005, India has offered 50 MGC scholarships annually for students from MGC countries to pursue diverse diploma, degree courses, history, culture, tourism, IT, vocational training, engineering, management, even film direction.
Quite a range.
This raises an important question. How do these scholarships contribute to long-term human development and goodwill in the region, going beyond just the immediate skill development?
These scholarships are a profound investment in the future, fostering long-term human development, goodwill in a really impactful way. By offering such diverse courses, India isn't just providing education, it's actively contributing to capacity building, skill development for the next generation of leaders, professionals, innovators in the Mekong countries.
Cultivating talent.
Cultivating talent, broadening horizons.
So it's about creating these enduring connections that can last a lifetime.
Precisely. When these students return home, they bring back not just specialized knowledge and skills, but also, crucially, a deeper understanding of India, its culture, its values. This creates a powerful network of individuals with strong people-to-people connections, fostering mutual respect, understanding, and importantly, enduring goodwill.
Alumni networks.
Exactly. These alumni often become future bridges between their nations and India, promoting stronger diplomatic, economic, cultural ties for decades to come. It's a strategic investment in soft power, creating lasting bonds that extend far beyond any immediate political or economic considerations, contributing to a truly integrated, interconnected regional community for the long haul. It's about building a shared future through shared learning.
This deep dive has really painted a comprehensive picture, hasn't it? We've navigated the complex waters of India's Indo-Pacific strategy. We've seen its extensive, very practical engagement in 2023,
Hmm,
from the steady evolution of its partnership with ASEAN to its leadership role in IRA, the collaborative framework of IPOI, and that grassroots impact of MGC. It seems clear that India's vision for the region is deeply rooted in cooperation, mutual respect, and a shared pursuit of security and prosperity.
indeed. And the specific initiatives we've explored, those direct flights, the game-changing digital payment links, joint maritime exercises, academic scholarships, they're not just isolated actions, are they?
No, they feel connected.
They are tangible manifestations of India's stated principles. They collectively reinforce that overarching vision, a free, open, inclusive, rules-based Indo-Pacific, with cybersecurity and growth for all in the region, and ASEAN centrality as those core guiding principles we discussed.
And what does all this comprehensive, diversified engagement tell us about India's growing strategic economic influence in what is undeniably one of the world's most vital regions?
Well, I think it signals a nation deeply invested in collaborative growth and security, one that, at least in its stated policy and many actions, prefers to build bridges rather than walls.
A proactive, responsible player?
It absolutely underscores its commitment to being a proactive, responsible, and collaborative player in the Indo-Pacific. It's a clear signal that India views regional stability and prosperity as a shared endeavor, preferring multilateral frameworks, consensus-based approaches to address these incredibly complex challenges.
Investing across the board.
This diversified engagement demonstrates its willingness to invest in various avenues from hard security to soft power, digital integration to achieve its strategic objectives and contribute to a resilient, balanced regional order. It's about trying to build a future where shared interests, cooperation, mutual well-being are prioritized over narrow competitive gains.
Okay. And with that, we leave you, our listeners, with this final provocative thought to mull over. Considering this intricate web of relationships and initiatives we've explored today, how might these collaborative efforts actually reshape regional dynamics in the coming years, particularly in areas like trade, security, digital connectivity? And what role might individual nations play in either strengthening or perhaps challenging this evolving framework that India is championing?
A lot to think about there.
Definitely something for you to consider as the Indo-Pacific continues, inevitably, to define so much of our global future.